Very well, thank you.
My first British coach this year, so
Really?
excited, yeah.
That's good lucky.
So yeah, be kind to me, alright?
Of course.
Okay.
Oh, but we're lovely.
Okay. If you want to have a comfort break, as the Americans say up, we're quite happy for you to use our staff bathroom now. There's only one because it caters for 3 members of staff, so be patient. It's okay. But if you want to follow me, it eventually led to people basically given the right to buy out their land, and especially when the landlords who couldn't afford to keep their large estates, they actually sold the land off to a lot of their tenant farmers in Ireland. And this is how the majority of land came into private ownership in the west of Ireland, and especially here in Achill as well. So that's the Michael David Bridge. Eventually it was replaced by a new swing bridge in the 1930s, and the one that you've just come through opened in the early 2000s, and it is designed to resemble the internal ribbon of a local seacraft. A local seacraft that is known as a yawl, and the yawl would have been the workhorse of the people of Achill going back through the 1800s and 1900s. Okay, so we're going to continue on along this route, and we're going to have a couple of stops along here further up on the Atlantic Drive. So if you have any questions, just shout them up to me and I will ask them or answer them as best as I can. And she is well documented in the court of Queen Elizabeth. This is my house.
Which one?
This one here. Oh, this is owned by Rosaline Kilvan, and it's an Airbnb house, so you can view inside it.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Sold about 10 years ago.
All right.
Yeah. It's quite nice inside. It's an old land commission house.
Yeah.
It's an old farmhouse built for the purposes of farm.
Do you mind if I just say something?
Yeah.
Right. Now, talking about Her Ladyship Grinwy, the book is absolutely fantastic.
No, we're okay. So we're actually going to stop about 5 minutes further up the road, where you'll have more access.
Well, you're on the way for really horrendous breaking on the rocks, but it's much calmer here.
Was introduced by Sir Walter Raleigh directly to Ireland, because he did have an estate, and we think it was down around Cork.
All right. Oh, thank you.
Wow.
Oh.
Gosh.
How's it all going? You know, so good. Whoa.
That's good.
Okay, see the bridge that we're approaching? That now is quite narrow, so we'll take our time. But we have taken 53 seaters for us.
Yeah.
Because you can have you'll have hundreds and hundreds of piping playing in unison, and they'll have the snare drums going, and it is a sight to behold. And I'm fortunate that I have 2 kids, and they did their apprenticeship, and one of them kept it up. My son actually is a piper with one of the village bands, and no matter where he is, he will always make his way home on St. Patrick's Day for those couple of hours to pipe. And it's the Scottish Highland pipes we play. We don't play the Irish war pipes.
Oh.
We play the Scottish Highland pipes.
And why is that? Do you know?
This comes from the tradition of, I referred to earlier, of totty hokers going to the farms of Scotland. So the tradition was brought back to Ireland. Yeah. Come on, ladies, move aside. Come on, move aside.
I can't do my own thing.
I've got my nose against. Yeah,
and they would have been used, and I think that there is a hermit now actually living in one of them, because we do see a chap that has appeared, and we think he's he's probably taken up residence, but we people just leave him alone. we just give him let him get on with
What
it.
we would call a tramp.
Yeah, while turning around.
So this is where I'm home for the boys.
Yeah.
And on these laptop, you can see them along the beach.
Oh.
There's somebody in the water down there.
Oh, the colours are lovely in the water.
I'm more interested in seeing the glassmanship.
So as Charlene begins the climb back out to Kim Bay, the bay is very historic, and its connection to with our history with Britain is huge. Like the boycott, he would have been invited in here by a landlord, the Coast Guard station, which I think is probably one of the last. But there is also the remains of a British military barracks, and it dates from the Napoleonic Wars. Its structure really sets it apart. The way it's built really sets it apart from local architecture. The stonework in it is beautiful. But going.
Note the temporary traffic lights. They actually count down towards going green. If we'd have followed the road direction signs, we would have simply gone round and round this block forever. It was right turn, right turn, right turn, and no obvious way out. we wanted to get to Westport House, but it wasn't really signposted. I thought it was about the way we came from.
Hmm?
I thought we came from that way just now, just down there and turned left, didn't we?
I don't know.
Yeah. I'm going again.
Left turn, isn't it? I don't know why Westport House being up there, I take it, is it? Is the Westport House up there?
We finally made it. Ran around the town a few times. But we're here.
Okay, man. Up this way. Just let your...
This is where we had our cream tea at Westport House. And very nice it was too. We've got a tour of the house coming up soon. Yeah, I think we look in the gardens after that.
Oxfordshire. It's supposed to be beautiful. Oh yeah, yeah. Around upstairs and downstairs if you wish. So the house was built in 1730, but the story goes back further than that. Does anybody know anything about our famous pirate queen, Grace O'Malley? Yeah. We love her here, so I'll be talking a little bit about her because I talk a lot about the get away with it. So how did the O'Malley Brand connection happen? With this man here, Colonel John Graham, he came from Cowdray Castle in Sussex in England, and they pushed back the Atlantic and reclaimed the land. Then, as I said, the house was built in 1730, but in the 50s as well, they didn't like looking out at the poor old peasants in the morning because the town of Westport was directly across from me there on that lawn. That was the original town, and it was called Cahir-na-Mark in Irish. That is Stoneport of the Week. So they decided to do something about that. They built the town of Westport for the inhabitants, the landlords here did, because they wanted to have the lawn back. So they built the town. There's only 3 towns in Ireland that are architecturally designed, and Westport is one of them. Now you'll see when you're passing through, the river is straight. It's like a canal structure. It wasn't always like that. It actually meandered quite a bit. And apparently the Georgians liked everything to be straight and even and symmetrical. So they rerouted the river. When I was a child, every single winter, the river went back to its natural course. So we have a photograph in our local paper in 1990. There was particularly heavy rain that winter, and we got no keep it enough rain that year. But there was particularly heavy rain that winter, and there's a picture in the newspaper with the postman opening the letterbox and the water coming out to greet him. It was a solicitor's office, and it was in the Mayo News, the newspaper the next week. Deeds, pound notes, £50 notes, and wills were literally floating around the whole office. So in the 1990s, Mayo County Council addressed the problem. And if there's any engineers amongst you, please don't ask me what did they do, but they fixed it. That's all I know. So now I'm going to bring you down here to the Long Gallery, and I'll try to be interested because they were sketching all that. Sit down, of course. Anybody that wants to take a seat, there is one, feel free. But yes, that was the drawing room. So this is the Long Gallery, and rooms like this were very important from an entertaining point of view. And I know in Ireland, I don't know if it was the same in England, what's called the Big House. These were called the Big House. There was great one-upmanship and competition between them all as to who had more wealth, who could supply the biggest dowry for the daughters, and marrying into the best family, and all these families married into each other really, to hold on to the wealth. So this is the man that built the house. This is John Graham. He's the grandson of the Covenant of the Hall. He was also given the title of the Earl of Altamont. That was their first title. So he made the money, and the guy down here between the 2 windows.
We were told that the Atlantic came right up to the doors
He
once
married the lady in this place just underneath
and actually
there.
flooded the
Her name
place,
was Elizabeth
but
Kelly.
they
She
pushed
came
it
from
back now.
Galway, which is our neighbouring county, and she was enormously wealthy. She was an only child, so as they say around here, she was a catch. But there was one clause: many children would be named Dennis. Because.
Very modern
But
children
Each
there.
there is the man that built Westport, and he also built the harbour and the harbour Sutherland. Eight of his fathers harbour came out, so they invented our fire destroyer.
Dining room.
And it wouldn't be horrific to destroy this, but all of the furniture came from the family estate in Jamaica, and the furniture is said to be an apology present from your man in the big picture out there to his wife. So draw your own conclusions. We don't know what he was apologising for. We can use our imagination. Maybe she found out about them. The Eakins on the family crest, and you'll see dotted around the house, they are very, very proud of the Eakins. So now I'm going to talk to you just for a minute about Grace O'Malley, and then you're free to go.
They're in the more modern kitchens now. Modernised, another huge trophy. Not as big as the one up the top, which was buried in the bog for 150 years. There we had some of them. Very nice they were too. Grand staircase, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. All being renovated at the moment. That must be an important room.
Yes.
View.
Sorry, I got lost.
Beautiful windows.